is yours, babe.
Okay, so welcome to the movie night, to the premiere of T Stories, my first feature movie. No one has ever seen this movie. I'm super excited to show it to you. It's gonna be amazing. Alyha, the protagonist, is gonna DJ after the performance, after the event, after the screening, basically. And it's super full, so I'm super fucking happy and excited to show you this movie. Let's see how you react to this movie. Okay, you wanna see?
Yeah, why not? You can leave the light on. The protagonist is here. Okay, I guess if you have any questions, you can ask them now. Like, for me or for Alyha, if you like. And yeah. Hi, thanks for coming.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I don't know, would you say that a lot of the events in the movie reflect things that you've lived through?
Yeah. I would say it's a very, very personal movie, and that most of it happened to me before shooting it, actually. Yeah.
Or is there anything in the film that's not from your real life that, like, you made up completely?
The
Like
cucumber.
using a pickle during sex or
zucchini.
Well,
or that part's real.
well, to be totally honest, this scene is like one of my favorite scenes, and it's like the cucumber. Basically, so the cucumber, it didn't happen to me, but I had to make the protagonist somehow sympathetic at this point, and the cucumber came into play. You know, because I just felt like if there's not the cucumber inside, that the protagonist might get a little bit unsympathetic in some way. Yeah. Yeah, that's it about the cucumber. But it's like this, especially this scene is like really kind of my style, because I like to really make light or make a scene like this as enjoyable or digestible as possible, and that's it basically with the cucumber.
I just wanted to ask if it was the scenes in the clubs and things like that, the party scenes, were they with all your people, or did you just go in there and film whatever?
Yeah, so basically like for the first party scene, it was in Bonneburg, Berlin, which was 1 week before closing, so I told everybody I'm gonna shoot this movie there. If you like to come and be in front of the camera, it's cool. And it was like they were trying to get events for the last week. And for the second party scene, it was like Alyha's
It's a weirdos party. If you've ever been to Weirdos before.
Oh, the Weirdos party,
Yeah.
yes.
Dan is a friend of mine, so I asked Dan if we can shoot there, and she said yeah. So it was an actual party that we shot at.
It was an actual party.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was at the Zieglerstraße.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I heard they're shutting that, like,
Too bad. Gentrification, right?
To be honest, but totally. I mean, everything's being shut down nowadays
I mean, yeah, it is.
in Berlin, so.
Like, especially we kind of people, we should like really empower something that goes against gentrification, basically, I think, because so many of these places were shot in places that are affected by gentrification. So yeah.
What camera did you use and why did you decide to make such long shots?
Okay, so I don't know if you noticed, I don't know if you picked up, but like the second chapter is completely a continuous shot. There's no cuts.
Yeah.
True that.
So I love continuous shots, and I just felt like this was a slice of life project. The genre was slice of life, so I thought that I was super inspired by Victoria, and I just love these kind of shots, and it's like the most voyeuristic you can get with the camera, basically, to make a continuous shot. And then again, like, okay, this was shot, the second chapter, Genuine, was shot at 48-hour festival at Filmpremiere with Vivek and Sasha.
Hi.
Hi. And you can also ask questions to him, obviously, about the second chapter. But yeah, I mean, I just love continuous shots, and I think they really reflect or go into the voyeuristic nature of slice of life in a really good way, basically. And I just like it. Yeah.
So there was a lot of planning for the scenes, or there was a lot of improvisation?
So for the second chapter, we did it like this. We had 48 hours, and I had a script. And basically, I just told everybody, okay, we're going to rehearse 36 hours. And I rented this room in Marzahn, which I thought it's the most fitting for this kind of story. Which in the end was totally untrue, because like every person in Marzahn, they were super friendly to us, you know. But so we rehearsed 36 hours, and then like we shot it in 8 hours, and we edited in 30 minutes because it's a one shot.
Like 48 hours no sleep.
Yeah, basically. Like we slept a little bit. We slept all in like a tiny room. I made sure like all the actors sleep there, so they're there on time on the next morning. Yeah, that's it.
The other chapters are mostly scripted, or like dialogues are...
I mean, everything is scripted, but the only thing is that Transmer, the last chapter, was 33 pages on the script.
Yeah.
But the movie is 50 minutes long. So basically there's a lot of improvisation from Alyha, and it only worked with her because she's an amazing talent. And
This is actually my first film. I mean, this is
second
my
with
second
Savio.
film acting. So an opportunity came along, so I got to work with Kristina, and so yeah, that was me. It's the second time acting ever. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's amazing. And I wrote the script specifically for you. So that's it. And yeah, so you can say it's a rough rule that like 1 minute of film equals 1 page of script. But this was 33 pages of script and 50 minutes of film, so you can imagine that a lot came from Alyha. For example, like the scene outside in the snow, and in the club, it was unscripted, basically. Yeah. So yeah. You're there. So any more questions?
How did you manage to do so many drugs and stay alive?
Well, like, some people are just like, they have tiger blood running through their... They bang, sang, drum rock. No, I'm just... No, I mean, some people do it for real, right? Yeah, that's that. But then again, like, I like to take dark scenes and make them as digestible as possible, you know? So, yeah.
It's not a question, it's like thought. It's really interesting that the fact that often homeless people people judge them. So it's so easy to come to someone from my English, because I'm from Paraguay and Russia. So I have German, Russian and German in my mind, and then
You can just talk Spanish.
okay, perfekt. Ja, ich kann auch Deutsch reden, oder? Nein.
But she's not like...
Okay. But then no one will understand. No, I'm just like trying. I think this judgment thing, like often it's like also to, and I don't know. Maybe, are you also watched Pose? What do you think about it?
Ooh, I fucking love Pose.
Yeah, me
it makes
too.
me cry so
Yeah, me
much.
too. Yeah.
It was interesting because like the first chapter, second chapter, and third chapter. First chapter deals a lot with subtle transphobia, which like I thought it's a very interesting thing to thematize because it's very if you ever have a movie about transphobia, it's not going to be subtle transphobia, it's going to be the real transphobia, which is around chapter 3 we hit the real deal basically a little bit. But like the first chapter is basically subtle transphobia, which some people still like a lot of people still might believe nowadays that it's acceptable, and the second chapter is this thing about like the landlord, which doesn't allow non-lesbians, and she doesn't acknowledge the gender, and then the third chapter is basically like the real transphobia, basically the transmere. So yeah. I really think it's so important to like capture the subtle transphobia, you know, like the everyday transphobia you have to go through basically, yeah, and that's chapter 1 basically. Any more questions? Yeah.
I'm just asking myself, why did you choose English for the main language? Because
yeah.
I just know some actors also can speak German.
Yeah. Maybe,
I don't know.
So
how you came up with it.
basically, it's very simple because every time I write in English, and I speak three languages fluently. And German is not my main language, but I speak it fluently. And I don't know why, but for some reason it just comes out in English when I write, you know. So that's one thing, and the second is that I thought that it's much more digestible for everybody, and I want to spread this as far as it can get, you know, because I think like I want to share this view of like this emotions, this views and everything, and internationally it's much more acceptable or much more digestible if it's in English, you know. So that's why I wrote everything on English. It just comes out in English, but that's why I chose also to like do everything on English. And then Alyha is an LA actor, and Brian is an LA actor. And I really just like working with those guys on English, and it helps me because I want to write on English, I write on English anyway, and I want to film on English anyway, and having these native speakers on set, they basically help me to like get everything like as authentic as possible, you know. And then in Berlin, again, like there's sometimes times when I don't speak German in 2 weeks. Because that's Berlin, and I just feel like, yeah, that's Berlin. I don't have to talk German. It's very international It's a very international city, and I appreciate that a lot about Berlin. And it's just this kind of momentum that's happening here right now, and I thought it's acceptable to just not think about the language thing, just make it on English, you know. Yeah.